Show. Reigning champ, Tim Keck.
You're listening to
Come at me show.
Come at me show.
basketball shorts.
Come at me, show.
Did we say the show is good?
Hey everybody, hope you're having a wonderful day. Tim, what are you doing posting a podcast on a Thursday? Well, we are doing something a little bit differently today. I just had a guest on. I had my buddy Mike Breen on the pod, and we just chatted for a little while, and I hope you like it. I want to do more, maybe talk to more people. We'll see how it goes. Going to keep doing the regular pod on Tuesdays, and on Thursdays we're going to start mixing it up. And we couldn't have started with a better person. Mike Breen, I love this dude. Known him probably the whole time I've been in New York. Met doing improv comedy, sketch stuff. He's hilarious, and you probably heard of his show, his live show, Selena and Barnes, that he does with our friend David Raffalides, and we talk about it a little bit. Super popular live show that isn't happening because of COVID, and we talk about that a little bit too. So hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully you guys like it, and let's get to it. Here it is, me and my friend Mike Breen. Hey buddy, how's it going? That's my transition. We've been talking for a minute, and this is now it's time to start, and my starting line is, hey buddy, how's it going?
For some reason, I thought the podcast music was going to play, and then we were going to get started. But I guess this is how it's done.
Nah, this is how a professional does it. We don't need music. We're just music's already been played, and then I said something about how great you are, and now we're going right into this.
And I prefer that you never introduce me. I think we could just keep talking, and hopefully people can figure it out.
Well, I would have already. I think I'm already going to say your name, unless I didn't.
Okay. Oh, got it.
I could say your name. I would probably say something like, hey, this is Mike Breen. He's a good friend of mine from New York. Now he lives in L.A. You might know him from Selena and Barnes, the stage show that took the Northeast by storm. And I don't know, anything, maybe other things. You've done things. UCB at a one-man show.
Oh, yeah. Those are the two things. Yeah.
You've two things.
Mm-hmm.
And no other no podcast. You're just not interested in starting a podcast
yet.
No, but this is the jumping off point.
To hear the feedback on this episode and come at me show with Tim Keck and Cats Out of the Bag, Mike Breen.
Wow, this is Mike Breen. I always call you Breenie Baby. One time I thought very seriously you told me that nobody else has ever called you Breenie Baby before. Is that true, or was that just a lie?
That's true.
Really?
People called me Breenie a lot. I don't know why nobody can just say my last name, but they always have to add something to it.
No. I think I never refer to you as Mike either.
No, nobody refers to me as Mike, and I've only ever introduced myself as Mike. But people hear my last name and they're like, "No, that's his name."
I was thinking if I introduced you to if I was introducing a group of friends to someone, I would say, "Oh, this is Dave, Kevin, and Mike Breen."
Oh,
that is. I think that would 100% what I would do.
It's only 2 syllables. Give me the whole name.
That's how I feel. Tim Keck. It's like the best of both worlds.
You're a 2-syllable.
I'm a
too. See, I've had this theory. I've had this theory my whole life that people will say my whole name because it's so short.
Yeah.
But you normally just get Tim. You get away with it. People will just call you Tim.
I think I'd like Tim Keck. I think some people do get Tim Keck. But I also get like a Timmy sometimes and a Timothy occasionally. I don't know. I don't just get called Keck ever. But
no,
I think it's worthy of it. I don't know if it's as good a last name as Breen, but I think Keck's pretty good.
I brought you up to somebody recently who I don't think you're really good friends with.
No,
and they said Keck. And they're like, "Oh, Keck does a podcast or whatever we're talking about. Keck kills animals at night."
Yeah.
Whatever it was that I was telling them. And I was like, "You don't really know Tim." And I know that because you called him Keck.
I think there's people out there who call me Keck. We'll find out.
And that's a true, very interesting story that I just told.
That'll be a recurring theme on it is, what is my name? And then just see what people say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering how you're going to put it in the opening or in the credits. Is it
I
going
have
to
no
be just
idea.
Breen? Mike Breen?
I have no
I'd
idea.
love-
Just
If you
Breen.
need any help figuring that out, give me a call. I'm happy to brainstorm it with you.
We could brainstorm ideas for the title of this episode.
Yeah.
How are you? How's everything in LA? Are you people wearing masks? Do people wear masks? Because I'm used to doing this by myself. So if I go off on a monologue, like, just
I
know that
expect
might
it.
happen.
And I hope for it.
We've hung out in person before. This is usually how it goes. I get riled up about something, and then I had to go into work today, and I rode the subway, and some punk ass kid sat next to me, and he was wearing his mask around his chin, and I said, "Would you mind like putting your mask on?" And he's like, "No, I don't believe in masks." And I'm like, "You're just then believe in sitting somewhere else," I think is what I said, which was a very good line. And then he was like, "Yeah."
It's interesting to not believe in masks, but have one on your face.
Right. And he was sitting next to a friend who was wearing the mask properly. And I said, your buddy's
peer
wearing
pressure.
the mask. And then I called him an asshole. And then he was like, you want to do something about it? And I said, no, I just asked you to do a nice thing. But instead you're being an asshole. And if you want to be an asshole, that's fine.
I give you a lot of credit for that.
Thanks, man.
I don't think I'd say anything. Only because I'm a coward. But that's amazing. I haven't had to tell anybody to put a mask on, basically because I go nowhere, which is my choice, and it was my choice before this pandemic.
Yeah.
I'm actually thriving right now. I don't like being outside.
Really?
I don't feel like I have to be outside. I've got a great excuse to not be outside. I'm doing well indoors.
Nice. Like a house cat.
Yes. I'm finally becoming the man my dad feared I'd be.
An indoor boy.
An indoor boy.
With soft computer hands. Have you been like outside at all? Because now it sounds like people, like friends, are starting to want to go eat outside. Like all the restaurants are doing outside stuff, and I've kind of been avoiding it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not doing the outside eating stuff right now. Everybody sits pretty close together. Also, like, food is so expensive everywhere now. Like, prices have doubled at these places.
Yeah.
But I go outside. I run for about a half hour every day, and that's me outside. I pack it in, and then I'm done.
Yeah. That's kind of the lifestyle I've been living pretty much, is I like go for walks and stuff, and I've done like to go from places and like pick things up. But I'm scared. I know friends who've just like left, who've just like gone on trips. I'm sure you have friends the same, where they're just like, cool, we're just going on vacation. Like now there's like this mandate thing, like you're supposed to quarantine for 2 weeks or something if you're coming back to New York, and nobody's doing it. People are just going everywhere. I know so many people who are just doing whatever the fuck they want, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I saw a couple weeks ago, like 10 people I went to high school with all on a group trip in Vegas.
Yeah.
I was like, good for you guys. Proud of you. That behavior is totally insane. But they've all told each other that it's fine.
Yeah. It seems wild to me. I saw on this like Facebook page, which I want to talk to you about Facebook. I just saw some post where somebody
go on.
Somebody commented on one of these like gypsy housing groups where it's like apartment shares and stuff, and they're just like, okay, any advice for somebody moving to New York? And it was just 300 comments of don't come, why would you do that? There's no reason to come here now. That's a stupid idea. Stay where you are. It's just like, I've seen those like a million times. There's like no reason. Is LA like just a nightmare now, or New York just seems kind of dead? But LA too has like hurricanes, and not hurricanes, but like brush fires. And I saw an article about fire tornadoes. Are you worried about fire tornadoes?
I have yet to encounter a fire tornado, and it's why everybody says don't move to LA. The fire tornadoes will get you.
Yes.
But it hasn't happened to me yet. The apartment I live in hasn't split in half, and I've fallen into the Earth's core. That hasn't happened yet. I'm doing okay. I'm surviving. Yeah, I think New York is rough place to be. And I know you're there and you're thinking about moving.
All the
Am I
time.
allowed to say that? Am I allowed
Sure.
to leak that info? Tim's thinking about moving.
I mean, people just heard about how angry I am about taking the subway every day. It's like, it would be nice. It would be nice to live somewhere else. But I mean, I don't know. I have a good job and all that stuff, and I like New York. But with New York, you're compromising so much to just live in a place where you can do stuff. And when you can't do stuff, it's like, oh, you just reminded of all the compromises you've made, like otherwise, you know?
Oh yeah, and it's the culture of doing things outside of your apartment is why people live in New York.
Yeah.
So when that goes away, it's the worst place in the world.
Yeah, that's pretty apt.
Basically a hellscape you're living in.
I think so. I would definitely describe it as a hellscape. Yeah. What? Oh man, I have like my notes thing up, but Audacity is recording in the background, and it keeps like moving, and it's out of the corner of my eye. I just see this thing moving, and I can't do multiple things at once, Breeny.
You're
baby.
like a cat. You're like a cat. This
I am.
thing's just
I'm like an
moving and it's
outside
grabbing
cat.
your attention.
I've never understood the concept of an outside cat where you can just like put it outside and then it just survives. Did you ever have pets growing up? Have you had any pets?
I had a cat when I was born, but I was so allergic to it, they had to give it up.
Right. I knew this. I knew you were allergic to stuff.
Yeah.
You're the kind of allergic to cats where like you walk into a room and you're like, there's a cat in this building.
Yes. Yeah. If I was a superhero, that would be my power. I just know that there's a cat. Yeah. There's a cat. I can't do anything about it. I don't move any better. I just know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had a couple dogs, was allergic to both of them and had to give them up. It was a dark childhood with pets.
You had a couple dogs.
Yes.
So
I got a hamster.
You like were sick. You were like not feeling great with one dog, and they're like, well, we either have to get rid of this dog or double down on the dog thing and see if he can build up an immunity.
We got this Beagle Spaniel mix thing. I was so allergic to it. They got rid of it. And my parents were like, oh, what he needs is a hypoallergenic dog, which don't exist. So we just got another dog that somebody said was a hypoallergenic dog. And he was a disgusting little rat. Liked him a lot, but got rid of him.
Yeah.
That was that. What were we talking about before we got into outdoor cats?
Outdoor cats.
They're the most invasive species of any animal. Like they
Really?
kill more animals than any other animal, decimating the bird population.
I have heard that. There's just like they kill like billions of animals a year. It's insane.
It's unethical to have an outdoor cat. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. I did an episode on cats, and there was like I was on like the Reddit forum on pets, and the Reddit forums, like I was like, give me your hot takes on pets, and they just didn't have any because they're just nice people who own pets. They have no hot takes on anything. But it was all like outdoor cats are like a European thing, and like in the United States, it's like it's criminal to have an outside cat, is what they were all saying, which seems kind of crazy. I heard there's aren't there like flocks in MetLife Stadium? Like, isn't there like a whole? Have you heard about this?
Well, they let cats go, right?
They just leave them, and they just all live in MetLife Stadium, like the Jets football arena. There's just a whole tribe of cats that have formed their own civilization, like in MetLife, and I guess people go and feed them and stuff.
And they like kill all the rats and birds that get into the stadium too, right?
Yeah.
Like they serve a purpose.
And if someone gets trashed and passes out, they'll like take care of him too. They're just eating the corpses of coked up Buffalo fans who couldn't make it through the first quarter.
It happens. It happens at MetLife. What were we talking about?
Well, I did want to have you on because in general, we disagree about everything, right? You would say that about our relationship, that we just in general have no parallel, like no, we don't agree on anything.
No, I mean, you've spent your last two episodes were about movies, and I was just annoyed listening to everything you were saying about them.
Yeah.
And then superheroes, and I was just like, this is pointless for me to listen to. I can't even have a take. I reject the whole episode. I saw my only Marvel movie with you. And
Really?
Yeah, you and Kevin.
Which one?
It was last summer. I saw Spider-Man 2.
That was your first one?
And my last.
The second Spider-Man movie was your... That's literally the last Marvel movie that they've made.
And
they built this universe that's like 25 movies, and then the one before this one was called Endgame. That was literally the culmination of 25 movies worth of storytelling. And your first Marvel movie is the one they made after that, where Spider-Man like figures out what he's gonna do with his life.
Yeah, there were a lot of spoilers, so I can't go back and watch them now, and have no interest.
Oh, that's crazy to me.
I'll never watch them. I don't care. My brain doesn't even like get stimulated in any way seeing that.
Yeah.
It's just white noise. I will say this. I enjoyed when we went to the theater to see it. It was like a 4DX movie, I think. And that was my first 4DX movie too.
No, that was not.
Yeah, it was.
Real? Was it really? You did like that sketch thing about 4DX movies.
Yeah, I know.
And you've never seen one before?
Fraud. No.
That's so funny. Yeah, Breen did this video sketch that was great, and it's like him doing like an in-person, like the one-man 4X movie, and just he comes over to your house and shakes the sofa and sprays water in their faces at different parts, and it was great, and I thought it was inspired by your thing, but I think me and Kevin went to one together and then just told you about it, and you were so inspired by our tale.
Yeah, because you guys had a bad time, right? Like, weren't you so excited for it, and then it started spraying you, and you hit a button to turn off all the effects or something like that within the first 2 minutes?
Maybe there was something like that, but it's just weird because they want it to be like constantly moving like a roller coaster, but there's like moments where it's just there's like a 5-minute stretch where it's just dialogue, and then a door slams and the seat shakes as if an explosion goes off, because there's only so much versatility in this. There isn't like a little shake for a door slam. It's crazy. I mean, it's wild. I would 100% recommend it for anybody to try once.
Yeah, just doing it once is fine. And I went to that movie because you guys had an extra ticket. Somebody bailed. It was like a Saturday morning last summer.
I get it. You didn't want to be there. You weren't happy. You didn't have fun.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I had no interest in being there. But I went because I wanted to spend time with my friends, which was a huge mistake because it made me feel stupid. But I really liked the pageantry of the whole thing. There was themed food for Spider-Man. We got little toys.
Yes.
There was all this all the stuff you don't get in a normal movie-going experience. Like the lighthouse didn't give you anything. You got no toys with that. You didn't get a dead bird or anything.
No, I think the concession staff jerked off in a lot of the food, but other than that, they didn't really give you. I have not seen the lighthouse. I just know that Robert Pattinson jerks off in it because he jerks off in every movie now.
Name one other movie.
I don't know, but I saw this. I talked about it on the superhero podcast because he's about to be Batman and he was doing some interview and he's like, I hope I don't have to jerk off in this new Batman movie.
I'm fine with him playing Batman.
You don't care. You have no dog in this fight. It doesn't matter anything to you. These are crucial life changes for me. I'm going to have to watch 3 more movies of this guy sucking as Batman.
He's so many Batmans. We're all going to get a chance to play Batman eventually, right? Like,
honestly, if I was a real actor in Hollywood and I didn't get to play Batman, I'd give up, probably. That's a clear sign that you don't have what it takes. If you can't make it as Batman, you can't make it in Hollywood. True. Yeah.
Yeah. But you're just a real actor in New York.
Yeah, and I'm just a very, very real actor in New York. I host a podcast, and I aspire to just be in movies without doing any work to further that goal.
Love that.
That's the dream. I think I'm curious if you disagree on this, because I've just been crushing Friends right now. When I'm not watching the NBA, I've just been crushing Friends. You ever watch Friends?
I'd never seen it until like 18 months ago, and I watched all 9 seasons in a
Really?
couple days. Yeah.
See, I don't know if Friends is the best example of this, but like in the past few years, I've really come around on like I was as comedians, I think we look at these things with a more critical eye. And there was definitely a point in time where I was like, oh, sitcoms, this is bad. Like it was like, oh, if you watch Big Bang Theory, you're dumb and this is bad comedy and you're stupid. But I've really come around now and just like there's something just very comforting about not like everything doesn't have to be whatever The Office or I don't know, Curb, and not everything doesn't have to be like real art. It can just be a thing that you create and people take joy in, and then that's it. They don't need to think about it all the time.
I want to talk about that comforting aspect because I have a theory about that.
Ooh,
but
I'm
first,
excited.
I will say, Friends was a show that was just like every other sitcom, and the premises were pretty basic, but they had a pretty damn good cast, and I think that's
Yes.
what carried them. And it was a little generic at times, but like there were some funny moments with that cast. Outside of that, fine show.
There's moments in the show where I'm like, oh, like the first season, because I'm watching it now. It's like there's a lot of pratfalls, and there's just so many like scenes that end with somebody falling over, and then they like kind of get their grind. They get in their like rhythm, and there's some like I think great jokes. Like every once in a while, I'm like, man, that's a great joke, and I don't know if it's like because they're actually like really good, or if I'm just so excited to spend time with these people that I'm like looking at like the positive. I'm just looking for it to be positive. But there's some jokes in there where I'm like, that's a great fucking, if somebody wrote that now, I'd be like proud to share something like that. And then there's other shit where it's like, whatever.
Yeah, it certainly dates poorly at times.
I don't know what you mean.
There is no, I'm not taking this bait. I don't feel like getting into this. But
I'll say
I
it, there's a
will
lot of
talk-
homophobia on there. A lot of homophobia.
Yeah.
There's a few times where it's like, oof.
Oh yeah, and it's really light, and it's just like exactly what the '90s households wanted at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them. But comfort shows.
Comfort
So,
shows.
A lot of people, and you're probably watching this before bed, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, any time during the day is before bed. Everything's before bed.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I'm not watching. Well, I guess I on the weekends I woke up and watched some, but I'm like usually eating or okay, sure. They're before I go to bed.
I'm trying to have a very serious conversation with you
Right about Friends
now,
and how it holds up,
and you're getting into the semantics. No, not about how it holds up. Comfort shows. Like when you talk to people, the shows they watch before bed are usually Friends, The Office, or The West Wing. Like those are the three, from my friends
West
at least.
Wing, yeah, okay.
They watch, those are the shows that are on repeat. And I think it's because they never leave a single space. You kind of always know what's going on in those shows because they're always in the same rooms all the time. If you're just passing by and not really paying attention, it grounds you a little bit quicker. If you're watching something else nobody watches 24 before bed, right?
Right.
They're moving around too much. There's too much going on. But you can get grounded in something very quickly, like a Friends or an Office or a West Wing, only because they all take place in the same place every episode. And that is my TED Talk. Thank you for having me.
Because it's repetitive.
Yes, the repetition is really comforting.
It really is. It's nice to like just be hanging out in the same coffee shop. Now whenever they switch scenes, I'm like, oh, this is just the set, but with sand on the floor or whatever it is, you know? Like it's jarring to me when they're like, oh, we're going to go to the massage studio. And it's like, oh, this is different. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, there's an episode of Friends where they're in Vegas, and Vegas looks so stupid. It's really hard to get past.
I just watched the London one, and it's just weird. They're like standing outside this hotel, and I'm like, this is a set. By far, this is just a set. There is no way they're in London right now for this. Oh man, I don't even know if people think about that stuff. The connection I made. I think we've talked about this before too. Is like So you had Selena and Barnes, which is your like stage show that you and our buddy David Raffalides do, where you play the characters of Selena and Barnes, these like attorneys who I don't know anything about.
That's kind of the beauty of this, is nobody knew anything about them, so we could take some real liberties with those characters.
But is that true? So I don't know how much of like my audience will even recognize the name Selena and Barnes. I had no idea who they were before I moved up here, but everyone in the Northeast, it seems like, knows who these people are. It's like the jingle. It's like a commercial that they always saw on TV. They've got a jingle, and it just something like primal resonates with them about it. Like, how did you know that people were gonna love it? Because it blew up. It was like a very popular show, and like Barstool started promoting it, and like you just did a bunch of packed shows at the Bell House. Like, did you know that Selena and Barnes would resonate with people like the way it has?
Before I get into it,
Sure.
you can't mention our press and then only say Barstool covered it. That's
No, it was
that makes us
just
sound
Barstool.
terrible.
It was just Barstool. I was listening to an episode of Call Her Daddy, and they said you gotta listen to. It just felt kind of rap. Like you got a lot of bros at this show too.
Oh, we really do, and it was always the intention. No, we were just going for bros, but
Yeah.
There was a feeling that I probably never had before that, which was like, oh, this will be good if I put in the work. Because I got so excited about it immediately. I was like, yeah, this will happen, and I'm going to get rich off this and do this for the next 50 years. That was my plan. I don't want to stop doing it until I'm their age, which will
never happen.
happen.
This is your Tosh.0.
Yes, this is my Tosh.0. I'm just trying to get syndicated.
What is it about them? Is it that familiar thing of like, is it similar to the comfort thing where like every year of your life when you've been watching TV growing up in New York, Buffalo, it's like you see these guys constantly.
And I think it's like the personalities they give us are thin. It's just two guys smiling into camera. Their names are next to them and a phone number that's one digit. Like they're so thin as characters already.
Yeah.
That to dramatize them and make a breakup play that is like a divorce between two guys that we all know but know nothing about is probably what does it. I don't really know. I'm saying all of this in hindsight, but that could be it.
I'm curious because I'd never heard of them, but it reminded me kind of like growing up. There was like a commercial that's like it was something direct, and it was like used washers and dryers and like appliances, and it was like this guy, and he would always yell like, "If you didn't buy direct, you paid too much." And like as I grew up, he grew up. And eventually he like got a wife and she got involved and they had a kid, and then you watch the kid grow up. Like in these, if you didn't buy direct, you paid too much commercials. It feels kind of like that, where I'm just I just feel nostalgic for them. Like I hope they're doing well. I don't know who these people are.
Yeah, and there is the cynical side of me is like, oh, there's this ironic portion of Brooklyn that thinks it's really funny to take something really small that's barely pop culture and make it something much, much bigger.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that benefits us. But then hopefully you see the show and you're like, oh, it's not super tongue-in-cheek silly. We try.
Yeah. No, you do.
Do
you think that's like specifically a Brooklyn thing? Because I definitely think that's kind of like a hipster, probably like a smarty pants thing. But like the thing that came to mind for me now was like, didn't that guy do the movie La La Land? There's like a play in La La Land, and this guy just did an hour version of like a 30-second scene from La La Land, and that was really popular. And then the people from La La Land came, and it's like, why? This is just it's an exploration of just like a microsecond of something, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's what we like. We can all relate to it, and just saying the premise out loud is funny enough. If you can sell your, if you could sell that in a single sentence, people are going to come out and see it.
Yeah, that's really good.
And I do have this very dry medical approach to all comedy. So ask me any questions you want, and I will just tell you why things work and don't. There's no magic. It's all math, and
Right,
I have the
yes.
equations.
I do feel that, and I would definitely watching your show. There are moments where I'm just like, knowing you guys, I'm like, oh, that's going to be a callback for sure. And I'm like, look, kind of like when it's coming up, I'm like looking around like, there's no way this is gonna, and then it just shocks the hell out of everybody there. I mean, do you feel that? Like, I'm not trying to pick on your show, but like when you're watching stuff.
It certainly feels like it. No, no. And I'm like, do I see those things?
Is it weird? Yeah, because I know you do, because it's like the comedy math. But like when you're setting up a callback, you do it in a certain way. And it like tips your hand a little bit, but like I think most people just don't even see that stuff.
They definitely don't. And I think like another thing about Selena and Barnes was it was the first like sincere attempt at reaching a broad audience.
Right.
Because before that I was throwing meat at the wall in a basement in Brooklyn and wearing silly wigs and doing those things. And this was like letting myself just do the thing.
Just sell out.
Exactly. I just sell out. I was like, if I'm not making money, I'm not a comedian.
Yeah. There kind of is something for that too, where it's like, it feels like, especially in Brooklyn, it's kind of like insular. And I do like watch a lot of stuff and I'm kind of like, oh, but who is this for? You know, like,
and that's,
I don't think it's unfair for you as a comedian to want to actually perform in front of an audience. I think that's like a very reasonable thing for people to ask for, but because there's less of an access to an audience here, because everyone's fighting for stage time, people like look at it as like a dirty thing to have any appeal to regular people.
Yeah, you get really in the weeds when you're just performing for your friends, and it's when you can't like look outside of that bubble, you're in trouble. That's my saying. Can't look out the bubble, you're in trouble. But sometimes that works. Sometimes that works for people. Like they really dig into their thing and it resonates with a broader audience. But a lot of the time, you're just kind of messing around for your friends. And we're in a place where it's really lame to try. So if you try and fail, you just go home and never come back.
It's so embarrassing.
There's nothing more embarrassing than trying and failing. So most people don't. Everything's got this ironic detachment, and it's kind of safe, but it's in the name of all comedy or whatever we want to call it.
Yeah. Do you like this? Because I think I'm bad at social media in general. I think I'm like pretty terrible at it. And I'm like, I gotta just cut some of these things out. I've gotta I think I just need to give up on Twitter. Like I'm just scrolling through and I try to tweet and I'm like, oh, this is a funny joke. And whatever my thing is, it just doesn't, I think I'm just I don't know if I'm a bad writer, but I just don't write. I just don't write in a way that's like pleasing for Twitter. So should I personally, give me this advice, should I be like doubling down to like make my thing work on this platform, or is it enough to be like, I'm not good at TikTok, I got to move away from TikTok or whatever it is?
I think if you want to be good at Twitter and you want to be good at TikTok, by all means, go all in. If you're using those as some kind of bridge to the next thing, that's probably a waste of time. If you don't like it and it's not making you feel good, you're not growing from it. It's really hard to be on those things. I'm not really, but only because they make me really sad.
Yeah. When I was thinking of guests to have on the podcast, I was like, who's someone with little to no social media presence who for sure will not be able to promote this in any meaningful way? And
I really appreciate you thinking of me.
I did.
Well, to get back to that thing, I fell into that trap for a little bit where I was like, if I do this, I'll be able to do the thing. And then I kind of was like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, oh, I'd like to have my own show. Then it's just do that then. The rest of the shit will work itself out.
Right.
I don't have a lot of followers. We sell out every single show somehow. It works out. And like doing those shows at the Bell House is basically all I ever wanted in being a live performer. It's like, oh yeah, I did it just focusing on that one thing. And it's a lot of time and energy to get good at Twitter or TikTok or any of those things. And we have friends that are really good at them. And that's great. It's just not me. And it's not Jesus. It's just not me, man.
It's just not what I do, man. If I'm not selling out a room, I ain't interested. Is there? Because I'll jump into this. I hate all those Zoom comedy that's happening now. You know, like I think it's all bad. I think stand up is a live art form, and I think doing it not live is like cool. This is a joke. This is like inherent. This is bad. This is not what it's supposed to be.
So this is how out of the loop I am. I don't know what Zoom comedy is exactly. I'm getting this. This is news to me right now.
Is there any way Selena and Barnes could exist without you having like a live venue?
No. I mean, we have. It's funny you asked that because we have a reading in a couple weeks. Ooh. There's a new version of the show.
I'm excited to be involved in that.
You will be.
Yeah.
I hope. Yeah. But we're going to read it over Zoom with a small audience, but it's kind of just for feedback. We're not doing it as entertainment.
Right. You're hedging your bets. You're doing it ironically so that you're not being really putting yourself out there.
Exactly. You should hear the voice that I'm doing for this one. It's crazy. And I will not give you a taste.
Yeah. I did not ask for a taste. Let the record show I did not. I was not showing any interest in a taste.
But yeah, I don't know what it looks like. Maybe it could work, but I can't even comment on it because I don't know what it looks like. I mean, it's good that people are still getting up.
Okay, that's not true.
I can't like just be I don't know.
I'll drag people. I'm not afraid. I
have no idea who's doing this. You might be doing this and setting me up here.
I think part of me is just hurt that I haven't been invited to do these things. I gotta get. There's people doing like live shows now. No, sorry, what were you gonna say?
That makes it so easy for me too. Is I don't get invited to any of these things. It's so easy to be against them.
We were talking the other day about giving up the phone.
Yes.
And next week's topic for me is technology, which this will be airing the Thursday after.
Lovely.
So technology, you're trying to like give up the phone is what you're saying. You spend too much time on your phone and you're trying to get rid of it.
I think I was a low usage phone person before this, and now I'm not fully off my phone. I'll check it a couple times a day, but it does go. I've told you it goes in a bag, and
this is crazy.
I don't look at it while I'm working. Yeah, and I'm just. You can't text me. You can't email me. You can't call me. I'm sorry.
It was super hard to schedule this.
But I have time. Like, we still text.
Yeah.
But there is a big chunk of the day that is dedicated to just focusing on what I'm working on. And if there's an emergency, I can't be the guy you got to call. That would be crazy. I can't think of a single instance where somebody needs me right away.
Yeah. Yeah, I still have you listed as an emergency contact at work, but you said when you moved, you were like, I'm gonna be at least 6 hours away. The wind blows against us. There's no way I'll get there in time. And I said, I'll wait. I can wait 6 hours. You're still closer than any other friend I have. I don't think I could give up the phone. I like work, and then I just have I just check constant. I'm like, I got to delete Facebook or something because I've just started going on Facebook again, and it's crazy. It's so addicting, man. It's so addicting.
And you have no choice. Like, I pick up my phone, and I have no idea what the plan is. It's like, it's just automatic. I'm like, oh, my hand's picking up the phone.
Yeah.
I wonder what it wants to do. And then it's like, oh, it wants to check the same 3 sites that I always do.
Right.
And there's nothing on there. I wasn't looking for anything. I was just distracting my brain because work got hard for a split second, and I couldn't deal with it. That's it.
Yeah.
But now what I do is when things get hard, I just keep staring at the screen, and I might not move for a half hour, but eventually I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. You're brave. You're brave to do this. You're a hero. You're a goddamn hero. People don't say it enough. People call, other people heroes, and they pale in comparison to the action you've taken with this.
And it only takes like a week. It's a grueling week to like get by without the phone, but after that, you're good.
Right. I'm just worried about being alone for that long.
Tim, it will be dark, but you will find yourself.
Oh my God. My whole life operates through the phone. My family's texting me. I have Google Home lights like all around. I can't turn anything on or off without my phone. I tried turning my AC off before this, and it didn't work on my phone. I take notes for stand-up. I like constantly am writing on the note thing.
I'll tell you how far I've taken it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Scare me.
A week ago, my phone stopped getting signal. Like, I don't get service from Verizon right now.
Yeah.
Shout out to Verizon, sponsor Tim's show. And after a lot of research, I figured out the SIM card inside the phone is loose. And I haven't even once tried to get it fixed. I'm like, great, now nobody can call me anymore. I'm not kidding. I had a call earlier today, and I was like, hey, you guys have to FaceTime audio me because I don't have my phone set up for service anymore.
That's incredible.
It's going okay. My parents hate it, but it's going all right.
Do you ever see yourself being a flip phone guy?
Oh, yeah. I fantasize about being a flip phone guy.
Really?
Yeah. Those guys, they're pretty damn cool. That's bravery.
I feel like there's something wrong with every single one of them. And I know it's a prejudice thing. Yeah, it's like when you text with someone who doesn't have an iPhone, and you're like, "Green, what the fuck is this? Get this green text out of my thread."
So we play cards, and there was a new person that we play cards with, and I will not add him to the thread because he doesn't have an iPhone, and I know everybody will get upset that it's green.
Yeah.
I was reading online that, you know about online?
No.
I was reading.
What website is it?
I'll explain in an email.
Okay.
Oh, that green is that shade?
Yeah.
Because it's unsettling. It's the harshest green because they want you to tell your friend, get an iPhone.
They're monsters.
And it works. It works. Like
they're fucking monsters.
Like, that blue is a real nice blue to look at. There's a reason you get upset looking at the green, and it's because it's the ugliest, harshest green. It looks bad with white text behind it. It's harder to read, and they want that. Get a flip phone, Tim. That's what I'm saying.
Switch.
Beat the system.
I just don't want to have to text by like pressing 1 like 3 times. Do you remember that? Where you had to press the same button and like it moved over. It just slowed everything down. I mean, I would stop texting that. I just wouldn't text. I'd give up texting.
Flip phones have keyboards now. Like, that was happening at
They're
the
not
end
making
of
new
keyboards.
flip phones. I don't think any company is investing in flip phone technology now. You want a sidekick? You want to go back and get like the T-Mobile thing where it like flips up? That'd be cool as fuck. If we're all hanging out and you're like, okay, yeah, let me, and then your phone just flips over and everyone's like, what the fuck is this demon magic that he came up with? We'd drown you in a river. You're a fucking witch.
Yeah, the Sidekick has too many features, though. I wouldn't want something so advanced.
Yeah. I think it'd be
But
really
I do
fun
fantasize about it.
to go blueberry or blackberry,
Blackberry, yeah.
strawberry.
Ooh,
It's one of those. It's a
blueberry.
berry. I'm gonna go blueberry.
Raspberry, poisonberry.
I remember reading this thing about how like everyone in Washington has Blackberries because they're all so old and that's like the first phone they got. So it was like when Hillary Clinton was talking about like the emails or whatever that they're like, oh, her Blackberry got hacked, and it's like, yeah, but this is the only computer she knows how to use. Like she doesn't know how to use an iPhone. Like none of these people know how to use. Apparently, Colin Powell, whatever. Some guy was like the first person to update the computers in like 20 years. They just like don't. The people writing our laws and running our government are just computer illiterate. Apparently, is what this whole thing's about.
Who was the guy? There was some politician recently that was just like, I've never used a computer in my life. It was one of those really old Republican fucks.
If you have money, why would you need a computer?
Yeah, you just tell somebody to do it.
Yeah, you have a person. If you had a butler, you don't need a computer. I'll just be like, hey, tell Mike we're rescheduling the podcast for 7:15, and he'll figure it out.
Oh man, an assistant. That's the dream.
An assistant is the dream. Okay, I don't know how to wrap this up, but I want to give you a chance if you have any other bones to pick with me. You've been listening to the pod. I know you have. You've been talking a lot of shit. This is your chance. I mean, you said you hated my movie takes. What am I wrong about with movies? I know we disagree on everything. So come at me, man. Come at me, show.
I wanna pick on some more obscure ones. I'm just trying to remember them. Oh, you got really mad at celebrity podcasters. And I was like, this is a crazy argument.
What are you talking about?
You got mad at Michelle Obama for having a podcast.
Yeah, fair.
And I was like, insane. That's like one of the few people you want to have a podcast. She's got insights nobody will ever have. And she's giving relationship advice. And it's like, yeah, I want to get it from the person who married a president.
Ugh.
That's exactly who I want to hear from. Then you went after the Office ladies. I don't know if that's a real podcast, but crazy. That one was surprising, actually.
That is a real podcast. It's 100% a real podcast. I started listening to it, and then it was good. The problem with a lot of these is they're like actually okay, and it's like fuck. I don't want, but they're taking food from like normal people's mouths. The people that are making things are now the people who are reviewing their thing and also getting paid to do that. It's crazy. Why the fuck are we paying Pam and Angela to explain what happened in an Office episode? Like, who gives a fuck?
They got good stories though.
They're great. They're so good. They're so fun. They're sweet. They're nice to talk to. And you know what I heard? I listened to Rob Lowe's podcast because I fucking remember tearing into Rob Lowe and I was like, God damn it, this is okay. Rob Lowe just seems like the best he seems like the best guy in the world. I like have a hard time hating on him. And Michelle too. Michelle Obama, I'm like, I don't know why the fuck. Michelle Obama is just the best. And she's speaking at the DNC convention just like, why do we give a fuck about what Michelle Obama has to say? It's because she's just this wonderful person, it seems like. She seems incredible. She lights up a room. I really care about her opinion, but I don't know why. I don't know. She wasn't the president. We're not going to be clamoring for Melania Trump's opinion on things. You know?
No,
did anybody
but that's
ask Barbara Bush what she
different
thought
argument.
about the world?
Yeah. Well, if I'm being totally honest, this is the only podcast I listen to. I've listened to podcasts in the past, but right now I'm at one podcast and it's Come At Me Show.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping I become a producer and you gotta let me produce an episode and it'll look totally different than all the other ones. And I'm calling for it now because I keep pitching you ideas and they haven't happened yet. And I just need free reign. You know how like when your friend does something and you like it and you're like, why isn't that mine? This is me trying to make it also mine. So yeah, I'd like to do that. Hey, I don't know when you're listening to this, but Selena and Barnes going to be a show summer 2021. Look out for it.
If we get to summer 2021.
If we get to summer 2021, it will be a show ideally in New York. Maybe you're listening to this then. Google it, unless your
Yeah.
phone's in a bag somewhere because you're working really hard. Then just try to remember it. And you will be able to, because your brain will be stronger for not obsessively looking at your phone.
Yeah.
Get out all the cognitive cobwebs, as they call them. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Giving us a taste of that new voice he's trying out.
This is a lot of the new format of the show is me. I'm in a lot of it. You guys
Just been
will like it a
editing
lot.
more and more of Dave out. It's just a
Oh no, I'm
monologue.
talking about our podcast.
Oh, our
calling
podcast,
it
the one
our
we're doing
podcast
together.
now.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha. Yes. I can tell that we're truly friends, or at least I think we're truly friends, because when I see friends succeed, I'm happy for them, and when I see enemies succeed, I'm insanely jealous.
Yeah.
Cool. Any
Listen
parting
to
shots,
Tim's
Breen?
podcast. It's
Nice.
called Come At Me Show. You're listening to it right now. All you have to do is hit next or last episode. There's more of these. This is not the only one.
Wow.
Give them a shot, and
Oh.
you'll have a great time. That's it for me. Signing off. Here's the theme.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Tim. Had a great time.
And that's the show, guys. Thank you very much for listening. I'll be back on Tuesday with our regular scheduled program. And next Thursday we'll see. Maybe he's gonna have another fun guest, and maybe another fun bit coming on Thursday. Next week topic on Tuesday is going to be sports. Email the show, call the show, let me know, and the king stays king. Bye.